We are live back in the amazing section of space and time called the Captain's Quadrant for our Star Trek looking into the episode of Prodigy Preludes. What's up, everybody? I'm Captain Joe Dove. Joined with me this week are good friends that are both very, very special. Three of them, not both. It's just a trilogy here today. We got Flashback Chase, we've got Ship's Botanist Philo, and we've got This Is My Tragic Backstory, Disco.
You're watching it unfold.
Yeah. It is great to be here with you guys. There's so much to unpack with this latest episode. I was myself intrigued by seeing this unfold and learning more about our crew. But at the same time, it was like they did some animation styles that threw me off. So that kind of was surprising. But let us jump into First Contact. Thanks.
Classic.
Yeah. So this
Should I
episode
say
was
gassic?
gassing. Oh, yeah, that's even better. So this episode was our classic look into the eyes of our heroes. Let's go and see where they came from, what makes them tick, and how they got to their place of all meeting up in the prison. So I think they did a good job of explaining the backstory, but this was a complete filler. We had such a big ending last week that I thought they were going to continue on the story, and they just went, let's give you where these guys came from. Don't you know what the rock creature's like a friendly kid, and we don't know how old he is, and and all that fun stuff. So let us switch with I've gone into the wormhole.
You're feeling a bit out of focus.
Yeah,
You're dissipating.
I'm dissipated.
Like
Yeah,
a gas entity.
Right,
I'll get back in there. So flashback, Jace, tell us what you think.
I didn't have as much problem as you had with it, by the looks of it. The only problem I really had with it is again Janeway, and we can get into that a little bit later. But I didn't mind the idea of giving an origin story to kind of a couple of these characters, but they weren't fully fleshed out stories. We didn't get to see everything that happened with all the characters, but we got to see enough that I kind of enjoyed the little vignette. It reminded me of a clip show from the old 80s sitcoms when they needed to have a clip show. They'd all sit around talking about the past and then throw back to it, which I kind of like. So, but I mean, look, I do have a couple of issues, but that's a pros and cons kind of thing. But overall, it's a filler episode, but a fun one.
Yeah. Just Botanist, please, your first contact.
I love a good origin story, so I liked seeing the little bits and pieces of where they came from, but I agree. I don't think that it was like a big enough chunk. And I wish that I knew, I know that we learned so much about Dell's story and all, and oh no, he's this failed genetic experiment, but I almost wish it had been like, oh, well, who was he growing up and stuff? Like, we know a little bit of his story, but we didn't get anything here. So, but definitely a filler episode. Yep.
And then, of course, we've come to the tragedy part because this is a tragic backstory.
Yes, it is. I thought it was okay. I don't really have any real vitriol towards the episode. There were parts of it I liked, parts of it that I was kind of like, well, this is certainly a part of the episode, but there was nothing that I hated about it. I really enjoyed Jacob's backstory.
Jacob Pog.
Yeah, I enjoyed why he says his name all the time, because I just thought he was just stupid, but it turns out it's a habit he got into, because there's no telling how long he was doing what he was doing.
Yeah.
Rock Talk story was just kind of, it happened, okay. And then Zero's story was just
sad.
It was sad, but at the same time, I think that they could have done so much better with it, especially considering it was a wordless story, only about maybe 2 minutes. I just felt like that they left so much potential undone with it.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I just felt like it just did not live up to what it could have been. I enjoyed the diviner and the I can't remember what she calls herself, the Ensign Essentia woman, whatever her name was.
Yeah,
I enjoyed those two. I like their little backstory. I think it's very clever where Chakotay is. But overall, this was an episode that happened. Some good, some bad. I'm take that back. Some good, some happened. Nothing bad. I'm kind of. It was filler. It was fine.
All right, let's say hello to our friends in the wondrous world of the live chat. If you want to join us, if you're listening to this on the podcast, be sure to join us every Thursday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time and join in the fun live. We're going to talk to you.
I love how you go like all PBS. You go all PBS announcer right here.
I try.
If you enjoy the Captain's Quadrant, please join us.
Make sure you subscribe.
7 p.m. At 7 p.m. Eastern.
Hi,
Central.
Hi, Nita. Save us, Nita.
And then
there is no saving us.
Space Mom.
Space Mom sends her love. Yes. And then she says hello to Nita, but Nita brought up a good point. Now we know why Jacob and his Pog is so small. I agree we need more, but at least we got something with the backstory.
That is true. We did get something. There was slithers.
Yeah. And Zero was left behind. It was so sad.
And for being a hive mind, they're not very aware.
No, not at all. There's something missing.
But is the Chakotay and the crew alive?
Yeah, they're still alive. They're not going to kill them off screen.
No, bro. Yeah, they're not killing off.
Bird person.
As much as Jason wants that to happen, they're not going to.
Yeah,
it's not that I want it to happen. I just think it would be fine if it did. And I'm not saying Chakotay's boring. I'm just saying I can't think of a way to finish the sentence.
Now, do you guys feel like he kind of stepped it up a little bit because he showed, the
animators stepped it up a bit.
Did he
really though? Yeah.
The Protostar is in trouble. We are extremely damaged. Oh no, I'm so scared now. The animators are just sitting there going, oh my gosh, we have to make him smile. Don't let Beltran say anything else.
Yeah. And then, of course, Nita agrees with you.
Of course they agree with me because I'm right.
All right, let's hop into it.
Episode
what are we hopping into? All right, season 1, episode 16.
My favorite.
This is right, I believe.
This is right. A Starfleet admiral digs into the past of the Protostar crew. Meanwhile, the diviner recalls his life's mission. That's right.
And that is right. I know. I don't trust Prodigy for some reason. I do not trust any synopsis now at all. There you go.
A ruthless shark is swimming in the ocean, eating people.
In space, no one can hear you scream.
Yeah.
That's why they didn't hear that Zero is being left behind.
Oh,
he went there.
Yeah, that's cruel.
Let's
go.
And unnecessary.
Pros and cons.
We're going to move straight into pros and cons.
Yes.
Sometimes it may be good, sometimes it may be shit.
There's a lot of things that are maybe good, some things that may be shit. So let's have
more like a rancid fart. I wouldn't go that far, but
it's a what do they call it? Like
a shart.
A shart, yeah.
It's a shart. It's a shart.
We're getting down to this level now.
It may have groundhogged a little bit, but overall, I don't think that it was.
Yeah. All right, Philo, what did you think? What are your pros and cons? Save us.
Cons.
We cannot be saved.
Pros. I don't know whether the Kazon being so involved is a pro or a con, because from what I remember, they were boring as heck or just irritating. Like I was okay with the Kazon not being there. But let's see. Cons, other than the fact that we didn't get as much of Dal's story as I wish we had got. Like I wish we had gotten like a little extra blurb. Oh well, by the way, this happened. But I guess it really was about him him being like, oh, look at how terrible my life is. Compare it. But what's the worst thing that's ever happened to you? Oh gosh, this is the look back that we get from everybody. How'd you end up there? Oh, well, of course it's not going to be a great story, but it was an interesting look back into each character, but it was almost like they were all very somber look backs. There were no like, oh, this was a happy, well, I guess with Rock, it was a little bit of a happy story for a little bit. And she was like, and then something funny happened. Oh, wasn't funny for very long.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I don't know. There's pros. We got to look back. Cons. It was kind of depressing.
Yeah.
It is. I have to agree. There is that element of like,
Yeah.
I mean, it was still fun in some ways. I just stand by it was fun. But when you do think about their backstories, they're all really depressing in their own way, aren't they?
Yeah, he was like, how, oh yeah, what have you got? We've all got a sob story. Beat my sob story. Ouch.
Yeah.
But they all bonded from it too. So I mean, in that way, it's really great. They're all like, Rock Talk was like, it feels really good to talk about it. It was like, yeah, because they're all a crew.
All right, flashback, Jace, please.
The Rock, I did not like. I did not like that segment. I thought it was an easy route for them to take as a storyline. I didn't think it was very clever to make her a monster. I didn't need to think, we didn't need that element to be thrown in our face. We'd already known that she feels like that. Like to be so obvious and turn her into a Frankenstein freak show and then try to make it where she turns it and makes it a comedy routine and then to ultimately fail because of that choice too.
Mm-hmm.
I just didn't know what we were getting out of that.
Yeah.
So that's definitely a con. Janeway again, just at the end, it annoyed me that she walked in there and looked shocked for 10 seconds and then got karate chopped.
Karate
I was like,
it was kind of cool that the diviner knows Kirk Fu, though. I thought that was
Yes.
However, a pro is the diviner bit. I did like that we got a bit of him remembering the purpose. I enjoyed discovering that purpose. I did like that bit quite a bit. But the biggest problem is it leaves, because you had some good and some bad for me, it does leave with that overwhelming feeling of meh. It's not, it hasn't completely kind of grabbed me either way. But the Rock was the worst thing that I really rubbed me against. So I kind of was almost, I don't know, like I felt offended for the character that they went down that pathway. Anyway, I'll get over it. I promise. Before we go on, though, I mean, the idea of looking back, I do like. I mean, even after watching the episode, I was sitting back thinking what it was like, back in my past, and I got a clip for you. It was fun hanging around with my mates back then.
Did you ever do anything with that pirate gold?
No, not really. No, I think no.
You just bought more of those shirts.
It was chocolate. That's the
truth. It was chocolate.
That's why the way I am now. That's
that makes sense.
The physique I have.
All right.
Anyway, sorry, go on.
This is my tragic.
I got my cheap gag out of the way. Move on, please.
That was fun. I love that.
Love the
hey, you guy. What are your pros and cons?
Oh my goodness. Okay. My pros and cons are as follows. My pro number one is Jankum's backstory. I thought him choosing to put himself in the escape pod and leave that whole bit with him just making that selfless sacrifice, I really enjoyed that. I thought that was very good television, very good character development, because Jacob's kind of I don't know. I don't really want to use the word coward. I think that he looks for escapes, first of all, but if he's up against a wall, he's going to do the heroic thing. And I like that about him. I like that he's multifaceted. I also liked how he was semi-normal whenever he was woke up. He was using pronouns, and he was even Jason Mazzuccas was pulling back the insanity of Jankum Pog and making him just a regular guy, which I really appreciated. And you kind of get the sense that he just kind of snapped while he was working. And, now the use of his full name is just so embedded in his head that he can't stop doing it. And I can see how he would kind of freak out, because there's no telling how long they had him working on that ship. Let's see. I really enjoyed the fact that Janeway, as much as I have complained about her on this show, and I'm talking Admiral Janeway, not Hologram Janeway. Hologram Janeway is great. Admiral Janeway sucks. But I do like that she figured out that the kids were not like running, out of just like, we got a ship, we're getting away. I like that she figured out that they were like sold into slavery. These kids have had a hard time. Oh my gosh, we got to go do something about this. Now, walking into Asensia's quarters like, oh my goodness, what's this big robot? Does nobody lock their doors on the Dauntless? That's all I want to know.
I'm the Admiral. I don't have to knock.
Yeah, it's like, I can stroll in here. Oh my goodness, you don't have any clothes on. I'll be right back. Or actually, I'll just wait here. Another thing, I don't know if you guys noticed this or not, but Jankum's ship is the same ship that we saw on Star Trek Enterprise. So Jankum comes from the 22nd century. He comes from the Enterprise days.
Right.
So he's been in suspended animation for like 200 years. So more than likely, whenever he left,
you're right.
Archer in the Enterprise was running around, which I thought was kind of a really cool.
So that would
really
mean
cool
he was around before the Tellarites joined, because the Tellarites didn't join till Kirk's time, right?
Yeah, which might have also explained why he didn't know the Tellarites were part of the Federation.
Well, there you go, Jason. That's
another
microphone. I would say drop it.
I'm not dropping this microphone. It's expensive.
No, it's too expensive.
Another bit of cool continuity is that the Medusan ship that was landed on the planet is from the Star Trek special editions that were put out with new special effects. It was a ship that was made for those DVDs, and now they've taken that ship and they've put it into this mainstream Star Trek show. So now it's doubly canon. The Medusans have a ship that we saw back in Kirk's time. That makes me wonder, how long has Zero been held prisoner? I mean, it couldn't be hundreds of years, but how long was that ship out there? Have they just been using the same ship for the last 200 years? Inquiring minds want to know.
Wait a minute, isn't Rock super old too?
Yeah,
Rock is super old. Well,
so all three characters we did a backstory on are potentially hundreds of years old.
Hundreds of years old,
perhaps.
Yeah.
Rock is kind of, I would say she might have been alone on the ship for a few years, maybe 10 years, because the Brikar do age slower than people do. They've never really touched on it, though. I want to answer. I want to know how long she was on the Protostar by herself, because you don't just become an engineer overnight. It takes years of studying.
Yeah.
And, of course,
I thought it was implied that she'd done that. That was over years.
Yeah, that's what I think. That's what I think. And I think they're going to reveal it later that she was on the ship for years and that she does age slower. And, I don't know. Rock's story to me, it was cliched. I kind of thought it was cliched. Oh no, look, the poor monster. Oh no, I didn't really care for it. I didn't really care for Zero's backstory either.
No,
this was not an analogy. What's the word I'm looking for? Anthology. It's an anthology episode where it was made up of backstories. 2 of them worked. 2 of them to me didn't. So it was kind of 50-50. I like Jankum's backstory. I like the Diviner's backstory. The change in animation didn't really bother me.
Oh, it was troubling for
but
us.
I wish that they would have been more consistent with it. If they'd have done the entire bit with the Diviners in that style, it would have been fine. But switching back and forth between, that stylized art and then Captain Boring, oh no, this Protostar is damaged. We should land here. That was jarring. And I think that really took away from that story. But I didn't hate this episode. I didn't love it. To me, it's an episode that exists.
It's
And
there.
that's it. It exists, and that's the best I can say about it. I think that there was a lot of potential
Ouch.
that was it was there was a lot of potential in my opinion that just went unmined. And considering that almost the entire Prodigy writing staff worked on this episode, I feel bad for saying that because this is not something that they did. Just let's just throw out a filler episode. This was something they did with purpose, and I just don't feel like it was successful.
In saying that though, it actually, for me, gives the episode more respect because I want a set of writers who'll take a swing and a miss.
Oh yeah.
Hopefully they learn from this, and and I'm sure they will because their writing up to this point has been pretty tight.
Solid.
It has been. Yes.
Like I think this is the first time we've really picked some things that we actually didn't like out of since it's come back at least. Anyway.
Yeah. I enjoyed. I enjoyed the tragic backstory of Rock. I felt that
you liked it.
I did. I felt like it reminded me of Korg from Thor Ragnarok. Oh, hey, we're gonna break out. Come on aboard. You want to get off? I thought there was a lot of like throws to that. And yes, it's a very cliche story. I get it. I get why you don't like it, but it threw me off that she would be in a gladiatorial state because of the intelligence that she portrays later on and how we know her now.
Mm-hmm.
It was surprising that she was the big rock monster. So I was like, oh, okay. They went back to a classic thing that we know to really give filler to the backstory of this character. So I appreciated it. Didn't like that animation switch. It was trippy and I got confused. I don't know if it's because I'm all over the place, but I wasn't sure if that was the diviner's daughter that's come back with the robot, or is that just another?
No, not his daughter.
It's another.
Exactly, someone who's
yes,
who had an assigned role in the mission.
Right, but the way they drew her was so like an older version of his progeny that it threw me off. I was like, oh wow, it's an older version of the daughter. So there's a time travel thing going on. But
because remember, there's a time displacement. He's been there.
Are you saying all Vanuatu look the same?
I don't know. I'm just saying that they drew the girl to look a lot alike his daughter that he created. Philo, what did you say?
No, I'm with you. That's what I thought. I thought that was supposed to be his daughter, but older, and I was trying to figure out why she had a British accent. I was like, when did she go back to the British form of this aliens?
Yeah.
What it is he went back. He's been there 20 years trying to do his thing. She arrived 3 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So there's 17 years different. Through the tunnel, they ended up those two different time points.
Right.
So it's technically
she looks younger, and he's aged like pretty badly, honestly.
Yeah.
He's aged like milk. Yes.
Yeah.
And basically, they did the what was it, Star Trek reboot storyline. A little bit.
Maybe a little bit element of it. Time travel's something pretty commonplace in Star Trek.
Yeah, but it's like the same thing.
Examples we could go
remember, Spock came and it was like 3 minutes, but when Nero went back, it was like, oh shit, I ended up 20 years before, and you know, we did a whole lot of stuff, but we never saw it because we cut it out of the movie. And then my cons, aside from that jumpy animation and the girl, another con for me was to me, it seems like they're never going to be able to get Chakotay. Not a con, really, but again, what happened to the rest of the crew? You know, what's going on?
They're going to save that crew. There's no doubt in my mind that crew's going to get saved.
Yeah.
I'm more interested in the bird person, to be honest.
What's that?
I'm more interested in the bird person with
Chakotay. So was I.
I was like, bird people.
Is that the bird species from the animated series?
From Lower Decks.
Whenever they went back?
That's what I was wondering.
No, I meant going back all the way to the original animated Trek series from the 70s. There was a bird person on that show in the best episode ever called, I can't remember the name of it, but it's the one where Spock has to go back and save himself as a child. There's a bird person there. And it kind of looks similar. So I'm thinking, are they doing a deep cut to TAS? Because that would be amazing. Of course, if they do a deep cut to the horny bird people of Lower Decks, that would be fine too.
Yeah. All right, before we go to
But would
commercial.
they do that on a kid's show, though?
No, I don't think so. They're not doing. It's probably the old bird people from the original series. Definitely not.
Bird
not the
person appreciates the deep cut, Rick.
Yeah, exactly. All right, we got some notes here from our good peeps.
Oh, no,
the
they're giving us
Kazon
notes.
is the right alien for this behavior, considering how they behaved during Star Trek Voyager's encounter with them. They left the Voyager crew on a planet. I think they're
And
back.
if you don't hate the Kazon yet, you're going to after watching this series.
Yeah, right. And they ended up as slaves. Once one can summarize that their story wouldn't be happy too fun. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
Absolutely.
Oh my God, we got a very
Sorry
special.
for just ruining my trick.
It's okay. I'm sure she's cool with it.
Yeah.
And then she also says, sorry for disagreeing with you guys. Listen, there's no reason to be sorry for disagreeing. We can all have fun and talk, even if we don't agree.
He does not speak.
Really? Is there a disagreement going on? Yeah.
That's the beauty of Star Trek. I got a dear friend from Twitter that stopped by. A good friend, the funniest frontier. Loved this week's episode.
I know that guy.
You know him too?
I know that guy. Yeah.
Wait, you all know him?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm all claiming him. This is my friend.
No, he's been cheating on you. We all know him. We're all friends.
We all know him. He's been around the block a few times.
Apparently. So good to see you, my friend. And well, our friend. I'll change it. And then my mom said, apparently he knows my mom too. All right. So.
Yeah, even Space Mum knew him. Like, what's the deal there?
There's so many inappropriate jokes I could make right now.
I think we should try the commercial. Don't you?
Let's go to the commercial.
Looks clear, Freddy. Okay. Ready, Eddie? Yeah! Let's go! Wow, Star Trek Deep Space Nine stampers. There's Odo, Kira, Worf, and the Cardassian. All four beautifully sculpted. One free in special Shreddies packs. Oops, ink pad not included. See you soon. Good, holy Shreddies.
The Cardassian doesn't deserve a name. He's scum.
Was it supposed to be Garrick or
Gold
Gold?
It just been Kardashian.
I have never heard of Shreddies, but I can say without a shadow of a doubt, it sounds awful.
You know,
Freddy's right now. And
say that again, Philo.
I said I want a bowl of Shreddies right now and my stamp.
I haven't had Shreddies in decades.
We call it Shreddies for what it does to your bowels.
Yeah, totally. It comes out the worst.
Right.
Look, here's
like-
Benjamin Sisko. Here's Benjamin Sisko. It's Benny Russell. Look at him. He's screaming. It's real.
What'd you say, Philo?
Snake's getting murdered by the Cardassian.
Philo, what'd you say?
I'm killing the whole show, and I love
Real.
it.
Yeah, let's seize back control here.
Yes. DS9 had the worst cereal. My mom says,
I'm on the
Nice
promenade,
cereal.
like walking by. It's like, you want some Gawk? Yeah, Gawk sounds good. Well, what about Shreddies? Oh, gross. No.
And then it comes out shredded.
Oh,
Remember, if there's blood in your stool, it means the Shreddies are working.
we're going to have a lawsuit against us by the company.
Bring it on.
I think they
Bring
would
it
pick
on,
up a lot.
Shreddies.
Nabisco's not even itself anymore. It got bought out, so we're probably
Oh,
good.
there you
That's
go.
right. That's fine.
Probably owned by Disney now.
Oh,
I'm
boy,
good night, you.
everyone,
I think we had too many shreddy jokes.
Yeah, we had Tim Funny's out of here.
It's like,
Oh,
whoa,
yeah,
Three minutes is
I would
like-
leave right now.
I'm
let's,
done.
I'm being held
yeah.
prisoner.
Let's jump the shark. Goodbye, y'all.
Goodbye. Enjoy your
Look, let's just move to 10 forward.
This is terrible. I like it.
They're eating Shreddies.
That's how the audience feels right now. Somebody, this is terrible. I like it.
Yeah.
They
All right,
love
this
it
is the-
and they know it.
This is the segment of the show where the shreddies really hit the fan. And we lose half our audience.
Hey, we got 4 episodes left, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
4
Yeah.
episodes left already. That's pretty crazy.
Yeah,
and I do believe the last 2 episodes are like a double header. So I only think we got about 3 more weeks of this. I think.
probably 2, because I don't think they're doing a Christmas. So
And that means we get to go back to the agony booth.
we return to the agony booth.
We've got one loaded in the chamber too. Does anyone remember what that was?
I don't remember.
That's our
What
catchphrase
show
for
we were supposed
Shreddies.
to
You have
watch?
one loaded in the chamber.
Shreddies just keeps returning. I'll have to go back and watch
slogan.
it. I have to go
I
back.
have to go back and
Returning
watch it to
to
find
the
out what we're
toilet.
doing.
Wait, before I go, we made Frontier leave.
Yeah, we basically did. Well, I think someone did. He happens to be, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
he's not going to go to sleep. All he's going to be able to hear is my Shreddies voice. Like,
You trying to go to sleep? Wouldn't you rather have some Shreddies? We now have Rom.
Oh my God.
Stamp Rom on your head. He works waste reclamation. That's where you're about to go because you had some Shreddies.
Oh man.
Save us, Joe. Captain.
All right.
He's running this joke
can't
into the
see
ground.
you at all.
The ship
All
is
right,
going
all right,
this
all
way.
right. So
He hit a
anything in the
planet.
episode,
Shreddy
anything in the
show.
episode that stands out other than Shreddies that you want to bring up right now?
okay, wait a second.
Philo, please.
I just want to say it was Flashback Jace who played that commercial in the first place.
Yeah, I had no idea what I unleashed, though.
No, you've opened the Pandora's box of stupidity.
Oh, you know what, mate?
Good
Next
job.
week, I'm playing a funeral ad. Let's see you joke your way through that one.
I can joke my way through. Bring it on.
Where there's a will,
You know that
especially at a funeral, that's the way.
I gave the eulogy at my grandmother's funeral and turned it into a stand-up routine. Bring it on.
Oh my
You think I'm lying? I'm not.
You had a tight 5 minutes, did you?
I wish it was 5 minutes.
Oh man. All right, Philo. Anything that stood out you want to bring up?
I feel like you're like, what the hell am I doing here? Other things
I
I've
had
been doing
no
right.
idea what I was signing
I
on to.
miss the days when I didn't have internet.
No. Stood out. I wonder if in the future we're going to see another episode kind of like this, or if they're going to reveal. Well, I guess that's more like predictions. Scratch that.
No, who cares? Let's get straight into it because I like the idea.
Yeah, we've lost control of the show. Just
Yeah.
I asked
Yeah.
you, Captain. What conclusion would you draw?
Welcome to the
Go,
part
Philo.
of the show where
No, but I
Nothing matters anymore.
how we're going to find out, like, what planet Rock Talk came from, like, what happened to Jankum Pog before the transporter ship, like, where did he grow up?
Oh yeah, I see what you mean. So
They're only snippet stories, aren't they?
right.
Yeah, so I wonder
Yeah.
another episode like this where they do something, and if they do, I hope it's not just like us trying to one up each other with depressing stories.
Yeah.
Kind of like, oh, what's your favorite memory? And have the crew bond over something nice, you know.
Well, the thing is, it does lend itself to that idea of doing another episode, isn't it? Because they've purposely only given us snippets. They purposely left giant gaps in character storylines for us
Right.
to show us more later on.
Mhm. And
You're probably onto something there. I don't know if I want to see that format though.
yeah,
No problem with it.
Yeah, if they do one every season, maybe that would be, tolerable, I guess.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I suppose they are doing. Technically, they're 20 episode seasons.
Yep. That's
Yes.
what I was going to get into. Like they've got plenty of time to fill in. So.
Yeah, it's not like they've just got 10 or anything.
Right. Not like the other shows. So it makes sense that they would do that. We've got a bleeding question from the group. We might need another one like this about the crew that was captured. So that does make everything.
Yeah, we could do a flashback with the
We need
bird
to-
person.
Yeah, they need to
And only the
bring
bird
everything
person.
together for it to make sense. So that makes a lot of sense.
Is that one of the problems with?
already been developing and everything, and we've already kind of got like some preconceived notions about certain characters. We've gotten to know a little bit about each character, but this really was kind of like a blast from the past chunk. And then now we have to kind of like knit that together with what we already know about these characters. So I think that we're going to have another episode like this.
Totally agree.
Do you think this is going to be an episode later on, perhaps, that we have a better appreciation for?
Ooh,
It's one of those episodes.
on
Once
us.
other things are revealed, we'll look back at this episode and have a greater appreciation for.
Is it going to come out better in the end, like Shreddy's?
I do have the power to kick you both in the studio.
Well, the captain, though. No,
Biggest regret of the day, Jace, was that goddamn Shreddy's. Shreddy's down here.
No. For real.
1, 2, Shreddy's coming for you. 3, 4, lock the bathroom door.
All right. Can we go to my favorite?
Let's
subject?
go.
My
Let's go
segment,
into it.
Sorry. Here we go.
It's time for stupid Star Trek questions.
Bit of a philosophical one. This one, boys.
Oh no!
Was there a reason for Lieutenant Barclay?
Why is Barclay?
Why is
Barclay?
Lieutenant Barclay?
This came from your followers, Jace. Like,
Yeah.
it came from your guys. Saying,
These are
was
my
there a reason
people.
for Lieutenant Barclay? And when I read it, I laughed to it, but that's dumb as that. But it actually got me starting to think. I think it's actually a stupid Star Trek.
No,
question.
I mean,
Self-serving
Yo,
into.
what was Barclay doing on the flagship of the Enterprise of the fleet when
How
he
did he
should have
even
been
get
like
there?
he should have been on a Cerritos somewhere?
Yeah, he was.
Like,
He's the inspiration for Cerritos. Totally.
how did he get clearance, honestly? How did the
I
shrink
think that they
not
were
go,
even asking the
dude's got
same
some
thing in
issues?
his first episode. It's like, what is he doing here? Well, he was on
Is he
this
like-
team, was wrongly convinced of murder, and then
Here's
there
my
was
question.
with a van and a man who refused to fly, and then he was just here. I don't know.
That's right, because he's from the A team. I forgot about that.
Yes.
Now, do we think he was the yang to the yin of Wesley Crusher? Like Wesley Crusher got it, was smart, was figuring things out, and then this guy bumbles and fumbles into things. Do you think he
Yeah,
was
like
the-
his time has passed a bit.
Yeah,
I think
he's
he
a
was
fresh-
specifically designed to, I think, very cleverly by the writing team to make a character that had a lot of anxiety and issues and stuff that some of the audience out there could relate to. I think it was way ahead of its curve in representing that type of someone who is having some issues, social issues and things like that. And I'd seen a character like that before on television. So in a way, he was a bit groundbreaking in his own sense, Lieutenant. Even if he did frustrate us, the way they, yeah, go on.
No, I was gonna say I have to agree with you because Barclay was a screw up, and in a television series where all of the characters were just perfect, role models, perfect officers. I have 15 commendations in my record, and never have I got that one little reprimand for killing the Klingon High Emperor. But I'm fine otherwise. I like the fact that this episode came along and said, hey, look, there are screw ups in the future too, and they have a place. Makes me think.
Haven't we all been intimidated by somebody before? Like he's intimidated by Picard. Like we've all met people in our real lives that we get super awkward around because they mean something.
Oh yeah.
So, let alone the fear of making a mistake. And I think that's where Barclay fails. Well, he's the most human out of a lot of the characters because he knows he tries very hard not to fail, but that effort that he puts in to fail almost is a self-perpetuation thing. He creates a lot of his own kind of issues, but still, I was a big fan of Barclay. I always thought it was great to see. When he popped up on an episode, I was like, oh, this is great. I mean, I've always been a Dwight Schultz fan anyway, obviously, because of A-Team.
I always thought it was weird that Geordi got all the hate for making Leia Brahms on the holodeck and falling in love with her, but Barclay was basically, if it was the 80s, he would have been the guy sneaking up to girls' windows and taking Polaroid pictures. I mean, really. Barclay was way more pervy than LaForge was.
Yeah, can I say Geordi was a bit of a jerk to Barclay, though, a few times.
Yeah.
He was very short-tempered with Barclay, I think.
Yeah.
Broccoli.
Yeah, I remember that. Broccoli, yeah.
Oh, broccoli. It barely sounds like Barclay. Barclay, broccoli.
As far as it's not a very good nickname.
No. But the other thing that about Barkley, there was an actress that was on for a season or half a season that seemed to be a little bit of a love interest for Jordy.
Sonia
Oh
Gomez.
yeah, I know that story. Yeah, writer strike.
Yeah,
the writer strike.
Sonia Gomez, who also played the I'm trying to think of a PG way of putting this. The extra special gifted woman from Total Recall.
Oh yes.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Yes.
I never looked up. So
Yes, I know.
I didn't recognize her.
Yeah, I didn't realize it was the same actress either. But yeah, it's Sonia Gomez was the tribute lady.
Yeah.
Wow.
Which even the prosthetic back then, it looked awful then.
Yeah.
You can totally tell. Like,
Yeah. Well, she's actually in one of the Star Trek groups that we're in. This is my tragic backstory.
Okay, well, how you doing?
And Captain now in canon.
Yes, that's true. That's true. I just want to take a moment to shout out my cousin who joined us today. Hi, Michael or Vince.
It really is a family affair, Joe.
Yes,
It is. My little cousin.
Hello. Hi, cousin.
He's brilliant. He's a brilliant dude. He's going to be destined for big things. Mom's Cosmic Space Mom. That's your nephew. So say hi to him and follow his channel.
Okay, excellent. We will.
So yeah, Barkley. What was Barkley?
Well, that's
what
really
happened
it.
to
That's
Barkley?
what I
Did he
wanted to talk
become
about. Why was Barkley? Barkley was there to be some of us who were watching the show were represented. Barkley was there, like Jason said, to represent that we screw up in the future.
Yeah,
people sometimes stuff up. You know.
Well, now, how did his story end? I don't
The
remember.
last time we saw him was he was
Voyager
working Project Pathway on Voyager.
Yeah,
and he showed up in the last episode, but you know that's future doesn't happen anymore. So I think he was teaching at the academy in that future timeline, and he was like a commander by that point.
Okay.
Wow.
Somehow
he stumbled his way.
Somehow, yeah.
Well, he was a lot more confident as the show went on. So
watching Barkley episodes were kind of like watching a Ben Stiller movie. It's like, oh no, don't do it. Oh, he's doing it.
It's cringe factor.
Stay off the holodeck, Barkley.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was particularly cringy.
Yeah,
definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Oh well, that was it. That was
it.
I think we got there. It was the.
Join us next week for more stupid Star Trek questions.
Brought to you by Shreddies.
I still love how overproduced that segment is.
That segment is dope.
It's amazing, yes.
It's so dope. In fact, it's so dope that my mother, Space Mom, she even commented somewhere.
We were waiting on bated breath to hear what Space.
Very cool overlay on
Oh, thank you. I think we've been using that one now for a while.
Yeah, it's a classic. I love it.
Very long time. There you go. Oh well, that's it, Cap, isn't it? We're out of here. We've done it.
Yep, that's it. We made it through another one. You know, shreddy free. Make sure you join us next week for another fantastic episode of the Captain's Quadrant. If you have a stupid Star Trek question, make sure to reach us on all of our fabulous
Please do. Please do. I'm nearly out of them. I need way more stupid Star Trek questions.
Absolutely.
Bring them on.
Absolutely. Let's see. I have a whole thing that we can.
You're right there.
Better hurry. I'm going to start talking about Shreddies again.
Well, what's going on here?
I'm waiting for it to save. It's like not saving. I don't know what happened. There we go. So you can follow us on TikTok, part of Trek Talk. You can follow me at Dis Dungeon. You can follow this brilliant man there. Okay. VHS Jace. You can follow Jason Roy Gaston and Philomath Boots, right? Did I do that right? Philomath
Boots.
Huh?
Philomath Boots.
Philomath Boots.
Yep.
Yeah, I did it right. All right.
Beautiful.
So make sure you follow us there. Please, if you're listening to the podcast, please, if you don't mind, it's free to follow us and give us a 5-star rating. Doesn't hurt. We'd appreciate the support.
It's like we're an Uber.
I would love to be on.
Yeah, exactly. And if you are watching on YouTube, thank you so much. Please be sure to subscribe. That also helps us. And if you're here in the live chat, please make sure to like the video. That's another big help for us. And, let us know your favorite parts by commenting below after the live post. So when we're all done, you can go and comment. That helps us out too. And it's free. All these things are free. And we appreciate you all. Have a great night. Live long and prosper.
Shreddies.
Hey, guys.